RNG, Camille Talia, no big surprises. Except to swap them back around once again. Vladimir ban coming in. This is what we saw earlier. They didn't ban Vladimir in game 3, and XiaoHu picked it up, and he destroyed everyone.
Definitely true, and they immediately slap him back on the ban list here. One more left. Will it be the Ezreal? Will they switch more up? And that is going to ring true. The crowd also has something
Kai'Sa, is that where Uzi goes?
Oh, it's definitely a first pickable champion. You do have to worry more about your lane phase punishment, though.
Yeah, I think Kingzone is saying we can't afford to lose early game right now, especially not if they want to play around Khan and get him ahead. So they need a bot lane matchup that they can win.
You want Gorilla to be your point man. Gorilla with the engage. Rakan and Xayah for the extra long range.
Ornn is still open though in this draft. So if they go Skarner, Ornn here plus Kai'Sa, that late game is absolutely insane. But again, Kingzone are very clearly saying we just don't want to fall behind early, and especially not in the bot lane. So now they have a playmaker. I'm looking at things like Galio mid lane, or the Sion again, things where you can roam from BDD side down and punish everyone.
BDD has to be the difference maker in this game. XiaoHu absolutely took control of game number 3, and he's going to need to strike back. Things like you're talking about that can roam around from the mid lane would be what you want to see from that role.
All right, let's see what BDD locks in. Karsa with another Skarner game. He is currently 5 wins, 1 loss in the tournament. Has not been subbed out for MLXG after joining for the final. Now, Olaf found himself on the Phase 2 ban list in every single one of the previous games. The previous, and it's going to get locked in now.
And this change is important again because Kingzone are playing more for the early game. They need a jungler that can really match what Skarner is doing, and Peanut is now on the Olaf.
Yeah, they have a lot of possibilities to play off of here with the Olaf now locked in from Peanut, the champion you associate with him, invading early and trying to get control. Level 1 invade should be on your mind now, and you actually have some more time to think about it as the bans come through.
We might get Ming on a melee support this time around. Tom Kench or the Braum to try and protect Uzi, because the goal should not be to try and hard win the bot lane here with Kai'Sa. Your scaling is insane. Aim for the late game.
Yeah. Do you want to get the Braum, maybe have a little bit stronger of a level 1, or maybe have the Unbreakable for later on in the game as well? Or do you want to try and get that Kai'Sa scaling quicker with one of those strong matchups?
Well, there is something for RNG to decide. I think now they should expect Khan to either go for a Fiora Illaoi type champion, because I'm not expecting him to go AP top.
Yeah, and actually the Morgana was the only other range champion that I was looking for to go with the Kai'Sa. You know, that one, Black Shield's so good later on, plus, you know, trying to hit those bindings early on lane phase. Now I think
just do it,
it's gonna be more difficult.
We said it already, just lock it in. Thank you very much. He did it earlier in the group stages, specifically against Ornn. And what happens is, if you try and go up as a jungler after level 6 to gank the Illaoi, she turns it around and 1v2s you. So this is the really classic, leave me alone, just let me push 24/7, and eventually Khan is strong enough to walk into a team fight.
Yep, Khan wants to be left alone, wants to abuse the tank matchup, but RNG want to play as a team here. Another suppression for themselves. And again, the Janna reset, gonna try and help Uzi in the bottom lane.
So Janna, again, good for laning phase, but very bad if you camp the lane. There's a Rakan to engage, there's an Olaf to gank early. I wonder if we get a Galio here, because there is so many ways for him to reach the back line, and they can just protect Illaoi when she smacks in with the ulti. Let's see what he ends up locking in. Whoa!
Whoa! A Vel'koz?
So he does not want to play Galio against Malzahar specifically here. He thinks about the matchup, and instead, one of the things teams used to do against Malzahar when he was picked all the time was very long-range poke. Vel'koz can bring that, can easily get rid of the Malzahar passive, and then you can try and all in.
He can also have some more control early, especially with this Olaf, so maybe they do try and look for some early jungle invades.
The tournament life is on the line for Kingzone DragonX, and in their potentially last game, they have Illaoi top and Vel'koz mid.
Best meta ever.
Honestly, this tournament has been full of surprises, and I'm happy that they still had some in store for the finals as well.
Well, they did say during the LCK finals that they didn't have to show anything. They had so many things prepared for that one specifically. We were kind of waiting then for the next best of 5 where Kingzone could get challenged. Flash Wolves didn't manage to take them down, so they didn't have to show too many unique things. Saving it though. Vel'koz coming in, and of course we have already seen the Illaoi once, but I'm glad we see it again.
Yeah, Illaoi. For those to recap, versus tanks, she's so happy because she can do max percentage health damage. She can also heal max percentage of her HP every time her tentacles hit. And that makes it very difficult for tanks to finish off a kill onto Illaoi. So sometimes they get a little baited into thinking they can actually have the last bit of damage.
Exactly. Illaoi is all about just stay alive, doing your ulti, because you have so much damage coming from these different massive tentacles. The way you typically can shut her down is either you knock her away, that's a Janna ulti, or you burst her down so quickly that she never really gets enough hits off to do anything.
Yeah, and we'll see, because Kingzone don't want to be forced into those group situations. Definitely going to try and play off the pressure once again.
What a game. The Void is unleashed with Malzahar versus Vel'koz in the mid. And of course, Kai'Sa playing from the AD carry role.
I definitely agree with the split push coming in from Illaoi, but I feel with the rest of the lineup and just looking at the amount of AoE damage they can deal, Kingzone will eventually end up in 5 versus 5s. And if they engage properly, imagine a world where we get Illaoi ulti combined with a Vel'koz ulti and AoE engage from a Rakan. Like, that is a wombo combo that one-shots almost everyone.
Very, very true. We'll have to see if the interrupts do come through, though, because, again, much like the rest of this series, there is room for outplay here. And what I teach you before about the Ornn horn, Deficio.
That's not running away, I guess.
Well, I think that's the opposite of what Kingzone will be wanting to do in an ideal world. We'll keep our eyes on how these team fights play out once we get there. But as we've mentioned a whole bunch, definitely scaling on the side of RNG. Definitely, you know, they need some time to get up. But Xayah, Rakan, Vel'koz, Olaf, I'm already terrified of those champions at this point in the game.
All right, well, speaking of the Olaf, Peanut starting off on the Raptors. That makes you think he'll go red afterwards and then down to his blue buff to continue on his clear. Very quick, you can get very low on HP with this champion for extra attack speed and not have to worry. Yeah,
I really want to see Peanut focus a lot on ganking. Bottom lane, you can shut down these range supports with engage from Rakan, plus your jungler. Looking top lane, you don't actually have to gank Rakan, you can just leave the Illaoi in the 1v1.
Exactly. Gorilla here has Ignite on the Rakan. Look for the knockup, try and pressure the Janna, and take him down.
Grand Entrance doesn't find the knockup, there's an early Ignite from Gorilla, and Uzi's able to escape.
Well, there you go. Uzi able to get just outside the range of the knockup here. And that's going to allow Ming and him to retain control. Now, we've also seen Karsa pretty heavily focus on, you know, pass by ganks where they go for a little bit of vision, just to make sure that...
Ming.
Ooh, some damage going down. No summoner spell, though. But tension and pressure building in this 2v2.
What was going to be a big all-in, also because Peanut was in the river. He was kind of hovering around the bottom side, but no Predator yet.
Definitely know why you're on your toes, Deficio. These range matchups, they always feel like you're the big bully for the whole lane until Gorilla gets fed up, and he goes all in, and they get a combo.
Check this out, though, here. First pro game for BDD on Vel'koz. It is fun, though, because in the LCK, I saw a lot of Vel'koz games. A lot of other regions didn't really want to touch it, especially in Europe. We haven't seen a lot of Vel'koz mid lane, but LCK kept picking it, and it is such an interesting champion because you have way more burst damage than people expect when they try and go for plays around him. If you manage to land and knock up into your full combo and then with ult, when you start really proccing them passive stacks, like, it is crazy how fast you burn through people.
In addition, in lane, Vel'koz, you like to put a bunch of points into your Void Rift for lane control. And against Malzahar, he can just throw out 2 Ws, and that'll help him push it and push XiaoHu around.
All right, XiaoHu steps forward to get out of range of that plasma vision, of course. The angles is what this is all going to be about. XiaoHu pretty adept at dodging those skill shots for now. That was BDD's E, that was B-Dot.
Yeah, XiaoHu's life is not very fun early game. He definitely can't really trade back effectively, and he doesn't have enough mana either before he starts building up. Some of the items could be more there, and he gets ulti. And that's the thing about Vel'koz. If you're pushing and trading, and a Malzahar clicks ult on you, you end up dying when the enemy jungler shows up.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes on getting, when they get access to the ultimate, how that plays out. But we caught a quick glimpse of LetME and Khan trading back and forth. LetME actually just standing and going blow for blow with Khan despite the test of spirit. Khan's got a lot of those defensive tentacles already in place. Pretty happy if LetME keeps pushing into him, just to fall back, play that sort of reactive Illaoi style.
All right, check back in with Peanut on the Olaf. He has had a power clear, and he's looking at the bottom lane, looking at Uzi.
And this is why. 28 KDA.
He wants to get rid of that KDA, that's for sure. He's around.
82% kill participation.
Oh, is he going to ward it here?
Right.
Walk the ward.
Prey and Gorilla are in the river. I don't think we've gone vision up yet. Woo, woo, woo. Not going to find the right target.
He was actually checking the tri-brush to see if Prey and Gorilla were walking back into the lane here. Did not walk into place the ward because it was on cooldown.
Uzi walking the edge right there. Doesn't step too close to the bush. Backs off and avoids the extra members in bottom lane. Meanwhile, top lane, Khan gonna have some extra members to deal with.
Oh, look at that. The moment the leap is used. First blood picked up by RNG.
Karsa again. This guy on Skarner has been so active and continues to find early game effect.
And Khan not level 6 yet. We already saw some of the damage he can deal as long as he gets to stay alive for a few seconds. Later with the ulti, it's gonna be even more damage coming in, but here they know, okay, we can go in, change CC him, and just try and kill him, but this tentacle there, they're gonna keep hitting.
And this was the counter pick matchup that Karsa is able to help LetME out.
Later.
He's 1-0 for now, and let's see if LetME can get far enough ahead to eliminate Khan from this match.
And why did that happen, Trevor? It happened because Peanut, who is usually playing around top triangle of the map, went bottom to Prey and Gorilla to try and make that play with the control ward on Uzi, because Uzi's such a big thing.
Oh, there it is!
Oh, the life form disintegration ray used, but the heal saved his life.
Oh, it hurts so much here. BDD forcing XiaoHu to use heal and force him to go back towards base here. Peanut is starting the Drake because of it, but look here, Karsa, Uzi, and Ming. They have control of bottom side.
Pushing bottom lane does so much to help out in that Drake control. Karsa now uses that to move up and ward Peanut.
Vision manages to back away. RNG just a little ahead. Pretty comfortable for now, but look at the CS differences. Plus 15 for BDD, plus 12 for Uzi in the bottom lane.
And now we start getting level 6s. Khan, he's going to be much harder to gank now because he can turn it around. Mid lane, XiaoHu's ulti is there. I'm waiting for Karsa to get his, and then I think ganking BDD is going to be a very effective move from RNG's side because the Vel'koz simply can't escape.
Oh, there we go. Harsh lesson. The test of faith. A lot of damage onto LetME's Ghost. He's going to need to kill a few of those tentacles before he's going to be safe. And as it stands, he'll be able to farm safe.
Yeah, can't just keep rocking the Klepto there. As we said before here, when you pick Illaoi, it's not to level 1 or 2 completely stomp the lane. You scale very well in the side lane with Black Cleaver. You get Klepto as well for extra gold generation. And once he gets that item, that's when he gets really scary.
Yeah, presetting right now, gonna walk his way back out. Both teleports for top lane are in sync. BDD in the mid lane has swapped his over, but it's still on cooldown, making use of the Summoner spellbook to lower it a little bit.
All right, let's see how well these next few minutes play out. We're approaching 10 minutes. It's still even as far as the gold is concerned, thanks to some of those CS numbers. But in terms of how the draft played out, this is maybe a little bit more what we were anticipating from strengths and weaknesses of the respective teams. You know, from what we had seen, we talked a lot about RNG was sort of the late game team, and Kingzone had been the early game team, even though that's not been the case this series.
And in this draft, I think RNG are pretty happy with the early game and the way that this one is going. You know, they have Kai'Sa trying to scale up on the bottom side. They haven't had the threat, you know, of the Rakan all-in really come to fruition yet. That being said, Gorilla is now level 6, and it becomes much more threatening.
I'm still waiting for Peanut to really start showing how much he can actually gank on this Olaf here. I think back to some of the past tournaments where he's played Olaf and he's just dominated early games. Not the case so far.
Exactly. I mean, he wasn't even able to protect Illaoi up on the top side. Meanwhile, bottom, once again, Karsa is there.
All right, there's 2 level 6s on the side of Kingzone. Gorilla gets in, gets out. And it is just the healer Monsoon to save the day.
Oh, Karsa also used Flash. He tried to grab Gorilla before he went back towards Prey. Around the mid lane, Peanut is looking for something, but XiaoHu is playing it very passive. Small win for Kingzone bot lane, and that can be important.
Yep, they got a lot of damage done, and they got the Janna ultimate out in addition to that flash that you mentioned. So some cooldowns to keep track of, but RNG still holding fairly strong.
It just feels like this game is so explosive. With all of the champions, the suppression, the damage.
There's the horn!
All of the Forge God comes out. That will be an insta-flash by Khan, and XiaoHu's roam will negate in nothing. The summoner spell for now. Let's wait for the refresh and the regain.
Well, let's see if Peanut on the bottom side can do something. Blast cone over. Karsa is on his way, but there's no TP to actually defend. Peanut is going in.
All right, let's take a look. There goes the undertow. Won't find any slow. BDD's already backing away. He's heading to the mid lane. Kingzone will be happy just to get some additional damage, get some additional control for a lane that really was struggling a little. Frey and Gorilla, they fell behind in CS despite the strength that Xayah and Rakan offer.
Again, though, Karsa comes over. He's able to escort them through to the minion wave at the turret, and Uzi picks some more up. Look at the CS there. He's doing so well getting these last hits, even with Kingzone having multiple visits to the bottom side.
They're looking top lane against XiaoHu. It's actually just Rift Hell being started. It just spawned. Poor guy instantly gets destroyed.
Touche. Good catch there, Deficio. There's no vision from Kingzone either, so not going to be aware. There's some missing pings from when XiaoHu roamed. That was why Khan backed away. Peanut, he sniffs something is up. Scrying on there will get a reveal onto Karsa as well as the Rift Herald. And then they're going to back away, so not going to secure the objective yet. Just an interruption, a little bit of a waste of time on the side of RNG.
Honestly, though, I can't blame Karsa and RNG for throwing out, moves like that, where they have been able to sneak quite a lot of early game objectives. A lot of the dragons been taken just in time with that Skarner Spire. This time around, though, Peanut catches them in the act. And again, this is an Infernal Drake on bottom side, so we're going to have to get back towards that one as well.
Yeah, if Kingzone can manage to secure a kill bot lane and then get Infernal Drake from it, it is such a huge win for them with this Xayah Rakan combo. But Ming and Uzi have done a great job trying to play defensive. Peanut, he's back again.
He's back again, and he's timing it almost with Gorilla's Ignite. A few seconds left on that Summoner's spell, so they might be able to spark something here around the Infernal Drake.
Who is the target? Ming was able to get out from the Tri-Bush. Karsa was a threat of being collapsed on, and nothing happened yet. All right, so Kingzone, they're going to get the Scuttle Crab, and then potentially set themselves up for a Dragonflight at some point. Look at the vision around that area of the map, as well as allowing Frey and Gorilla just to keep pressing forward, keep shoving its Uzi and Ming.
Yeah, they've had this control on the bottom side, but Karsa keeps being down here as well, acting as another defensive tool for RNG, making it a little bit harder for Kingzone to set up that tower dive or the quick Infernal Drake. But they keep getting mid-push, they can just start it, and worst case, they get a fight.
Worst case, let's see who wins that fight. All right, Peanut in the pit on the Dragon. Throwing out a couple of those reckless swings. There's no teleports used yet. Khan and LetME, they were trading. I'm looking to see if they back away, and neither team willing to start that fight yet. Losing a fight and Infernal at 12 minutes could determine the game.
RNG seems so calm in this one. Calling every play. XiaoHu actually going to have to burn his stopwatch there. That is definitely a big resource.
Kudos to BDD, landing every single one of those skill shots, forcing out the stopwatch. Looking at the minimap again, Peanut as well as BDD with the roam opportunity. But it's this pressure cooker. The longer it goes, the more it is at stake. Towers can fall, Infernal Drake can fall. Khan still has no flash. XiaoHu's looking for a dive.
Yeah, he has his ultimate ready.
All right, here comes Fall of the Forge God. That's going to be an easy tag. Does the Void Swarm. RNG punishing the flashless Khan.
RNG are just destroying this Kingzone lineup. Peanut's focusing on the bottom side, unable to get much done there, so Khan is paying the price. This time around, though, they've hard committed to the top side with that Malzahar, and Kingzone want to get something in trade.
So let's see if they can actually get the top lane turret down in time and trade it for Infernal Drake. This is a TP coming from BDD to defend. So Kingzone, they lose that top laner, they get the Drake, and they don't lose the turret here. So a good reaction on their side. And XiaoHu showing, well, if you're not a melee champion, you can still go up and gank. and Illaoi, because then she can't even get to you.
All right, now you got to keep track of those teleports, though, because XiaoHu walked his way up here. He did not use his teleport, and RNG have the possibility of making another play right out of this replay. But here's another look at it. Pretty simple there, boys. Just layer your crowd control, and they were able to kill the target.
Yeah, and of course, that allowed Kingzone to pick up the 10th Dragon of the series. Fitting considering their name. They've got that Infernal Drake. It will help out as this game scales up. And I'm looking at itemization, gentlemen. Rage Blade for Uzi already. Prey still working towards that Essence Weaver. So I'm already a little nervous of this Kai'Sa. I know how good she scales, but that Rage Blade is great already.
It's so impressive. He's sitting on so much CS here with the Kai'Sa when he's been against a jungler like Olaf that's hovered around his lane multiple times, but he always managed to get the farm and then step out and not actually risk going down. So Kingzone have not been able to utilize the Rakan yet. That being said, they do both scale very well, and there's going to be a lot of big team fights where the wombo combo from Kingzone with all the AoE damage can always turn everything around.
Could be the case, but it's going to be tricky to get their hands on Uzi on that Kai'Sa and hold him down. On the items, though, for them, at least they do have BDD banner completed for him, so they can add some extra pressure, and Khan as well, the Black Cleaver, so he can shred armor, in addition to having his level 2 ultimate available.
Well, let's see what Khan's going to do as this fight breaks out, of course. Throws the ultimate down. LetME is getting bullied. It's immediately after that Black Cleaver was picked up. Which we were talking about just a little bit earlier. The Test of Spirit comes out. LetME with the Bellows Breath shield stays alive a few seconds longer. There's no support from anyone else, and LetME still sticking around. I'm holding my breath in case there's some sort of engage. And
it's so fun for Khan now to play Illaoi, because once you get some levels, you start getting to the point where you just spam your slam onto them for proc it. Let's see what happens here. No, it's just Pina running away.
Interesting option there for XiaoHu, forcing the trade of ultimates as well. Now he's on the run.
Okay, a little bit of damage there. LetME still sticking around. He's under pressure. The quickness comes in. The life form disintegration. Death Ray secures a kill onto XiaoHu. That's a double for BDD at the cost of Gorilla's life. It's not done yet as LetME's running away from Khan. Khan's looking to put a harsh lesson down. He's not going to be able to get one. That's a double for Kingzone.
They're able to finally crack the defense here from RNG and get some kills for themselves with their solo laners exerting pressure.
Yeah, 2 kills now for BDD. He deals so much damage, even with the banner build on his side here. LetME will kill the wave, but he's so low, and there are so many tentacles around. If Khan gets onto him, slams down, the tentacle will hit right after as well, and there's just so much extra damage coming from this Illaoi. So 2 solo laners under a lot of pressure.
And even though Karsa is able to get Gorilla and get 1 kill back for them, look at this, he's gonna have to use so much to do it. He flashes over to go for the Rakan again and try and make them at least lose something. In the end though, he also goes down, so Kingzone happy to get that extra kill.
Kingzone get 2, it was only 1 for RNG. Khan may have stuck around far too long. He gets taken out, all the CC is layered. And that's an easy reply by RNG.
And that's honestly just lazy here by Khan, not even paying attention to the rest of the map. His mid laner was running from base, his dual lane was not in their lane. You can't be pushing to the enemy turret.
Exactly, for a team based on pressure, you need the other sides to be holding up their end of the bargain.
It's not the first time we've seen that falter. Of course, game 1 of the series, extremely close until Kingzone tried a 1-3-1. That was punished. They hung around, and RNG took the lead. Now, Tower First Blood picked up there by RNG in the top lane. You can feel the energy in this stadium is electric. Kingzone on the verge of being eliminated, on the verge of losing the final, and Uzi's going to get tagged by that Plasma Fission. The death ray is interrupted, I think, by the Howling Air, the Monsoon rather, as now Ming as well as Uzi are chasing. LetME's teleport completes, and Kingzone escape with their lives.
Yeah, BDD's just controlling this mid lane here, lands all the damage he needs, forces RNG away, and then Ming tries to use flash in with exhaust, had to use ulti first to actually stop the ult from BDD, but after that, BDD just walks away, only had to use his ghost. Big win for him, and then it doesn't matter if your top laner is just dying because your mid laner and your bot lane just got the turn.
Yep, a lot used from RNG there to try and close the trap, get that punishment, but
almost got the mid.
Couple hits more, it'll be
it's effective
momentarily, but here's a replay, of course. BD throwing down that ult.
Yeah, and Uzi just gets to the very edge of that knockup. That means Ming commits everything. He walks up, uses his ult, flash exhaust to try and chase down a kill, but even though they also call for the teleport from LetME, he had no ultimate to chase that with.
If he had ult, it would make a lot of sense that they're trying to chase down BDD, but in the end, they lose a bunch of summoners. Khan, despite dying, did actually not use anything, so Kingzone still have a lot of pressure down towards the bottom lane here, and we're just kind of waiting for the next play around BDD because he's been going crazy this game.
It is insane how much action we have had. We're approaching 20 minutes. It feels like there have been skirmishes the entire time. Threats of dives, potential kills. And as it stands, BDD that you were talking about, Deficio, he's up 30 CS. He's got a Luden's Echo to complement the banner of command. And that tower that was effectively dead is now officially dead. And that will allow Kingzone a little bit more safety, maybe, when it comes to pushing onto this Mountain Drake. They got the first Infernal. BDD will be the recipient of a Call of the Forge God. And at max range, it will get the knockup, but there's simply no follow-up after the fact. RNG, that's a big initiation cooldown, no longer available.
BDD knows his rhymes. He heard the horn, immediately started running from Ornn, and he able to get out without burning any cooldowns right there. So even though maybe the message was sent, it's Kingzone. They get back out onto the map. They know that the engagement's not there, so they can take this Mountain Drake.
Okay, we're now getting into the mid-game portion. When we look at the itemization, Dragon number 2 picked up here by Kingzone. What are we coming to expect? Kingzone have got a lot of initiation tools, but to be fair, so do RNG.
Well, I'm ready for Kingzone to basically one-shot Ming when the fight starts. He's not sitting with Flash right now. Prey and Gorilla with Xayah, Rakan can easily set it up, and then BDD's ult follows.
It's a great point to bring up because it's not supposed to be the Skarner flashing in to ult the Rakan while he's zipping around. This is what the Malzahar range suppress would be much better suited to do. If it's actually XiaoHu who's able to stuff Gorilla and stop that engagement, that would be what RNG would want to win a team fight with.
Yeah, 100% agree. So I really want to see QSS from Gorilla, because then you can actually get back out of the fight once you jump in.
Gorilla does have the unsealed spellbook, currently sitting on Ignite Flash. We should be changing that to Cleanse unless he's got enough money for QSS. Sitting on 700 gold.
Not going to save you against Skarner, Malzahar.
Ah, touche. Thank you, thank you.
Riot support lied to you.
Gonna need a little bit more itemization money then before that becomes plausible. And for Kingzone, it is still going to be getting this very interesting, very unique team composition to work. Use that pressure that we talked about from the fact that BDD and Prey are farming and doing so well.
Yeah, so they're doing well, which buys more time for Khan. And while he's definitely been caught out a few times and there's been some resources invested into killing him, the rest of Kingzone have benefited from it. And this Illaoi is still going to win the side lane. So right now, by having a stronger four-man group, Kingzone are actually in a good situation if they can force a fight here and shut down someone like Ming, because that can lead straight to a Baron.
Feels like whoever's going to land the crowd control has enough damage to win the fight. There is just so much follow-up on both sides. If BDD can get a full channel on that ultimate, he's going to wreck some kids. There's no doubt about that. All right, 22 minutes on the clock, 2 towers to 1. Kingzone are now shifting their priorities. They got bottom and middle towers, which means the top outer is very, very low. Khan has done a good job of setting that up earlier. And of course, with the stage of the game, Baron is a possibility. So that's why they're clearing up. Crab setting up some vision in that area of the map.
Yeah, should be able to kill that top lane turret soon. He can actually use his banner on it just yet. Still do it right after. He's going to continue push with the cannon coming the next wave.
Yep, BDD remaining calm. Him on the Vel'koz has been so big here for Kingzone in this game, where the pressure is really all coming together. They are backs against the walls, match point against RNG. They cannot afford to lose anymore.
Kingzone are up around 1,500 gold for now. Slowly climbing ahead. Next Dragon is Infernal, several minutes away. So just feels like it's waiting for a objective to contest or somebody out of position before these teams are willing to make a very big play. And oh, we do have a pause.
Pressure was too much. The stress has mounted.
I'm personally thankful for this because the tension was building for me, let alone for the players on stage, waiting to see where and what will happen to set off the fights or the contests.
It's Kingzone who needs to force it at the moment. They are the ones with the Rakan engaged. They have insane burst damage coming from this Vel'koz here. They're not starting Baron yet. I think they are too squishy at the moment to tank the Baron and still turn for a fight. So they're probably just waiting for another Infernal Drake to spawn.
Yeah, RNG can afford to be very careful right now. They're waiting to try and outplay this. They have huge crowd control abilities available. They're going to have to be very quick, though, once that engagement comes to try and answer, try and defend.
All right, as you can see on your screen, there's a Kingzone side pause. I believe that is the same issues reported earlier, so while our guys are investigating this, give us a few moments to talk about it. I want to ask about the scaling question. How different are these two teams? Because we're talking about how it was a little bit more pressure on Kingzone to be proactive and make the plays now.
Yeah, and that's still true. RNG, as I said, they can afford to be very confident and cautious right now. They've been coming up with a lot of good answers, a lot of good counter moves, and the gold is so close right now, Uzi having completed his second item on Kai'Sa, that they're starting to feel pretty confident. So you really have to watch out for the big engagements, and the vision is going to be what sparks that pick.
Yeah, I think no matter also how far we go into this game, to the scaling question, like Kingzone's draft, because there's so much wombo combo damage, can always win a fight. But I can also just see the same fight where Ming's ulti is perfect, Illaoi gets knocked back out, and she doesn't provide anything in the fight, and then suddenly Uzi goes completely crazy on a Kai'Sa.
Yeah, that's a problem I see. There's no point and click here for Kingzone to deal with this Kai'Sa. And Uzi has been very good with his positioning and dodging to be able to deal the damage without exposing himself.
Yeah, I really want to see how he decides to use that ulti, because when you jump in as Kai'Sa, typically you end up in the middle of the enemy team.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. You don't really want to do that against things like Vel'koz and Illaoi, because she's standing there being like, please come into my tentacles, I will smack you in the head. So if you are Uzi, you got to be super careful with how you're using it.
Yeah, and he should have a lot of options. Because of these CC abilities we keep mentioning for RNG, you know, Ornn, very long range. XiaoHu on Malzahar is going to be stacking Plasma on someone else. Skarner gets to stack Plasma on people as well. There should be lots of targets, you know, possible places for him to try and dodge these abilities, get away from the Illaoi, towards the priority targets, and you know, finish up.
Something that I love about this entire series today is it has felt like the drafts have been very good on both sides every single game, and it comes down to execution, setup, planning. It hasn't been those discussions that we've even had this very tournament, where question marks around champion pools, player preferences have come into account.
And we keep seeing new picks as well, like this draft, you can see on the side of Kingzone to the right, like these are 5 new champions compared to what they played in the previous game. They're like, we need early game jungler, that's then Olaf in here. We have Xayah Rakan, so we can force plays around bottom side, and that Vel'koz shows up because Malzahar was blind picked by XiaoHu, and it's an LCK special. 10
games in the LCK were played with Vel'koz this split, and just to add on to that champion discussion, the fact that champions that have been banned have been allowed through. So Olaf found himself on the banned pool, was picked up. Vladimir in the previous game found himself banned in the opening 2 games, found himself banned this game because XiaoHu just popped off on that champion, Kobe. And as it stands, it's now going to come down to execution again. We're 23 minutes in, and this game is just about even, Kingzone marginally ahead.
Like we saw in game number 2, when BDD was able to step up and have a huge team fight and outplay, that could be all the difference. Right now, I'm looking at Gorilla for Kingzone. The difference between a well-played Rakan engage and a poor one is going to be the life and death of this team.
That's simple. There's 2 suppressions to get through. We'll see in an Ornn ultimate.
He's probably going to die when he goes in.
Quick update, of course. The referees and the technical team backstage are reviewing the footage of the problem that was reported on the side of Kingzone. So while they're looking into that footage, we do have to continue just discussing and chatting some of the implications. But I really like what you said a few minutes ago, Deficio, that scaling, while yes, it is a factor, you can discuss it, the wombo combo capabilities and the fact that Kai'Sa, if played well, has to fling herself at the enemy, it creates opportunities to turn these fights on a dime.
Yeah, and that's going to be so fun to watch, because we're probably going to see both fights. We're going to see the one where Khan tries to walk in, he gets Malzahar ulted, and he just gets burned down in a second. We're like, oh, okay, that was pretty bad. But then the next fight, you overextend slightly, and BDD lands a wombo combo on his own, basically, and starts hitting an ulti on multiple members, proccing passives, and suddenly the fight is in Kingzone's favor. Because we're going to get both, it just means that, especially the next big one that will give you Baron, that's probably going to be the most important one.
What I like is it doesn't feel like the first Baron right now will determine the game. There's still a lot of towers to burn through. It's only 23 minutes in. if you get absolutely obliterated.
I can see if Kingzone gets it
Right.
with a fight, that their composition is good enough to then snowball the game out and actually finish it really quickly. But on the other side, RNG, yeah, it just buys them more time to get Uzi in the late game.
All right, so we'll find out. I am hearing some updates that the players might hopefully be ready. We'll keep you informed as that goes forward. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Gentlemen, thank you very much for helping me discuss the game. We're going to head to the analyst desk with Dash and Crew.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. While the action takes a small pause, the fandom does not here in the Zenith Arena. But midway through Game 4 here, with their backs against the wall, Kingzone doing everything they can to extend us to a 5th game in the series.
Everything and more. I saw the Vel'koz, and like they mentioned, LCK special, we saw plenty of it from Crown, and everything was going normal. There was a lost chapter. I'm like, okay, I see what this is all about. Let's attack it. Kind of reminded me a little bit of the Syndra versus Malzahar, and I'm like, can they make it work? BDD's had another season behind him. Then the Aegis came in, my mind started to explode. They weren't even using the Banner of Command straight away. But still, so far, it's got them the turret, it's got them the lead, and getting a lead in the early game is something they have struggled to do.
And I think the important thing to look at here is the fact that Kingzone is up 3 turrets to 1. So they had a very good pressure draft, which is something they haven't been able to have in the first 3 games. Getting Uzi on the Kai'Sa, while terrifying for the late game, means they can actually get some lane pressure. The banner, Vel'koz is just absurd, but it will give you...
I saw how hard that was for you to say.
It dirty out of my
lowers
mouth.
the kill threat, and it pushes a lane. And no matter how many times an Illaoi dies against an Ornn, you could be 0-6, you're still going to be able to push him in and be vulnerable to ganks. But because they have pressure in all 3 lanes, it means they're up 3 turrets, and this is a more comfortable situation for Kingzone to be in than I think they have been in all series.
My question is, where are they going to use the Illaoi? Because Khan had this game off to a very rough start. Multiple times he was the target, trying to get that Ornn into a more favorable matchup, because this is a very difficult matchup for Ornn. You can see that Khan continued to push LetME in despite getting the kills, but do they continue to play Khan in the side lane like the last time we saw his Illaoi, or will they actually group up for the big 5v5?
And look, at the end of the day, the Ornn is a pressure valve. He goes top side. He actually doesn't have good pressure. The cast as mentioned a couple times till Black Cleaver and then some, so of course he's annoying, of course he's getting some lane priority. He kept getting lane priority, kept getting ganked, but crucially, because we weren't seeing Sejuani, because we were seeing Olaf, because as you mentioned, it's a pressure draft, good things were happening where the top laner was not, and that was at least the start of some good map movements. The 3 turrets, that's a good sign for Kingzone.
And I think the game is at a bit of an inflection point, because currently, with the push that Kingzone has had in mid and bottom lane, they've been able to get 2 Drakes. Mountain and Infernal. Pretty happy about those Drakes.
There's another Infernal on the map.
And there's another Infernal on the way, a couple minutes away. Uzi's at a 2-item power spike. They have the Shurelya's Reverie on the Malzahar. They also have a Skarner, and there are not many QSSs yet on Kingzone. I think if RNG can't turn that fight around, if they just concede the Infernal and keep giving up turrets, that'll give them enough time to buy QSSs on Kingzone's side. And I think that's actually in danger of RNG losing control of the game.
And it's
All
also...
right, well, Jack claims that it's at an inflection point. I'm being told that we're getting ready checks as we speak, so we'll hopefully be loading into gameplay in just a moment as we go. Again, with everything on the line here for Kingzone, we're tossing it back to QuickShot, Deficio, and Kobe.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to what could be the last game of MSI 2018. To give you a brief update on the state of the game, Kingzone are marginally ahead thanks to some very good tower plays, despite the fact that Khan has been a little greedy with his positioning and punished for it, as you can see, 0-3 on that Illaoi.
And you'll notice he also bought a banner. This is a double banner team here from Kingzone. They really want to continue to play with the pressure. Banner the side waves, let them push, and then look for the Rakan play.
Now, the one downside is, of course, your team fighting is a little bit weaker in this regard here, Khan. Normally, you can see things like Death Stance and GA come in after a Black Cleaver. It is going to be delayed in this game. Same thing with BDD with his own build. He just used his banner now on the top side. So, yeah, it is about side lane control against a 5-on-5 draft.
And look at the itemization. 2 stopwatches in the inventory of Kingzone. Those next team fights that I was talking about a little earlier, the next Baron or Dragon, they could be game-changing. Kingzone wants it to be in their favor. They want silver scrapes, and they want that shot at the Titan.
Yeah, and I think there's a very good chance that if RNG lose that fight and the Baron, that they will simply fall too far behind. They don't have great wave play in their composition. And if Kingzone, as Jad highlighted, gets all the QSSs they need, suddenly they can eliminate a lot of threats.
Well, he has me thinking it's going to be Baron or Dragon. Maybe it's a red buff, and it's not the case. Can't see if that was picked up by Prey. I think that it was. Particles there on Karsa. So Prey as well as Kingzone are going to steal away that red, and they continue to apply pressure. They've got all outer turrets down. They need to push deep into RNG territory for another objective.
Yep, because they've been able to continually push here. So much vision through the blue quadrant. They're again invading, looking to contest.
All right, let's take a look. Call of the Forge Guard onto Khan. That's going to force the flash. We saw that happen 20 minutes ago, and Khan was killed a few minutes later. XiaoHu's going to be chasing with the Shurelya's Reverie. Silence is connected. I'm waiting for the ultimate from Khan.
Oh, they got him now.
All right, Khan is locked down by the Nezard. Nethergraph will get the ultimate out, but killed very, very quickly.
And this is the XiaoHu special for RNG. He loves to roam down to the lane where LetME is sitting and trying to catch the enemy top laner. He just chases down the Illaoi. Rest of Kingzone are looking for something around Baron.
Yeah, you can tell XiaoHu full confidence there. He continues the chase even after the flash, after LetME turns back and hesitates from his Ornn ultimate, knowing the Shurelya's speed would get them in range.
And look at the timing. 8 seconds for Infernal Drake. Khan is dead for another 20 seconds. He can TP in when he's alive, but RNG can start it now.
Whoa, that's a flash suppress. They've already got Gorilla. He's dead. Karsa finds the opening.
Then they would live and die by the Rakan play, and Karsa strikes first, flashes in for the sting. That's going to give them the Dragon.
Well, first Dragon of the 4th game in favor of Royal Never Give Up. That's an Infernal apiece.
And this goes back to RNG in the LPL, and this play here was XiaoHu. From watching the VODs, talking to Frost, we kept seeing this happening. He would like leave his top lane, he would go down, surprise him in top lane, and teams normally wouldn't really prepare against it and get surprised. That's what started this entire thing. Now, the rest of Kingzone are trying to hover around, even though there are only 4 members and Khan is still dead for another 10 seconds. Greedy play by both Khan and Gorilla, and they got punished.
Yep, the decision-making from RNG has been so quick, no hesitation. They're able to get a lot off of that one.
Thank you, Acer Predator, for that replay as we're back into live. Kingzone, they've lost that gold lead. They've lost themselves a tower. They've lost themselves control. And it maybe all starts from the fact that Khan once again got shut down.
They can still set up a fight though. They are currently trying to get all the Baron vision. Khan is still bot lane. Needs to walk up a TP in if they're actually starting it. Because that's the thing about Illaoi, is you ideally actually want to with your team when the fight starts, so you can land that huge ulti, unless you can get the perfect flank into a flash ult combo. But that is pretty hard to set up.
It's extremely hard because Illaoi's ultimate is a very short range, deceptively short. You need the enemy team most of the time to jump into you.
Wow, this helps if Baron Pit is where the fight is. Look at this.
Khan.
3 item spikes, by the way, inside of RNG. Infinity Edge and Void Staff with XiaoHu and Uzi. It's already secured. Kingzone, can they win the fight? Nethergraph buys some time, finally gets it. Friends a reply kill. Karsa's the first. Look at the feathers. They fly the call back. And Uzi trying to do something. He's taken out. It's a double kill, and Kingzone get 4.
What an opening for Kingzone! And the stopwatch for Khan comes up big. He's able to survive as well.
We just said it. We want Khan with the team, so when RNG walk forward, he's already there with the Illaoi. What a huge wombo combo.
Man, 4 members of Kingzone alive and barreling down the map. That's a 3-man stack mid. Khan is bringing the minions to the top lane, and there are still 20-second death timers on the side of RNG.
And this is how you want to set it up if you want to go to a game 5. Kingzone sit around the Baron. They started knowing they can team fight. LetME does not manage to cancel any recalls, and I just can't wait for this replay.
Look at this. As we just finished saying, Illaoi wants you to run into him. Khan stands in the pixel bush, and even with everyone around him, gets his ult off before the Malzahar ultimate. Then the flash hit. Gorilla able to knock up all of them. Buying time for Khan to get off his hourglass and survive.
Oh, we kept highlighting the amount of AoE damage from this Kingzone composition, and they just had the perfect team fight.
All the initiation blown on the Illaoi. opens up the pathway for Gorilla, able to charm them all.
BDD still has his stopwatch available, wasn't even under threat. And if you look at that wombo combo and you think maybe it's a shotgun, it has to hit the first shot. Well, it just took RNG's legs off. They're 5,000 gold down. They still have Baron to deal with. And they've got supers in the middle lane. Look at Kingzone grouping towards the bottom.
Yeah, the only positive for RNG is that they managed to stall the game long enough for Uzi to actually get items so he could team fight. Because when you lose that first Baron, the worst thing that can happen to teams is they're too weak to fight. And then they just see all the turrets drop and they fall way too far down. But because we are almost 30 minutes in, Uzi is actually strong enough to take a team fight even against the Baron buff team if RNG can engage.
Well, if you're on the receiving end of a bunch of tentacles, doesn't work out in that well. You can see now the limited wave clear here doing some work against these Baron minions, but going to allow a couple of shots from Frey, chipping 20% of that tower HP. Banner empowered minion also taking it away, and RNG, they're going to step so far forward to even deal with this wave. Look, they still haven't got that minion.
Yep, there goes Test of Spirit and half of LetME's life. That's going to be enough to push in and take down the turret.
Illaoi is so good in these sieges here because she can just keep landing poke and you are forced back to base. LetME's TP is available. There's a ward behind Kingzone, but they're stepping away from this bottom side because they just killed the inhib.
What an insane Baron play there from Kingzone. They're able to get all of the kills, 2 inhibitors down, and leave RNG's base in rubble.
One more fight, and it's game 5.
Keep your eyes on Gorilla. That man has the ball, and he's looking to finish with a dunk.
And vice versa. Keep your eyes on Uzi. I distinctly remember his Kai'Sa from the LPL playoff run. Team was behind. He managed to find a unique pick on that W, dive into the back line, and eliminate a carry. If Uzi, as he continues to scale up, can find a fight, that is how RNG can win.
We just have to remember how hard it is for Uzi, because he's watching everyone in front of him get hit by 3 to 4 massive AoE abilities that destroys them. And if he wants to fly into the back line, he gets to be in the middle of it. So he needs to play teamfights perfectly. Ideally, if you're RNG, you can reset from the first engage. When Illaoi ults, if you Janna ult and walk out, that Illaoi is a lot weaker for the next round.
All right, Kingzone, they're on the siege, pressing forward. Plasma Vision being fired out by BDD, trying to cover all angles and push away RNG. Flash Impale is up for Karsa. He's going to decide to back away. No really juicy targets just yet.
Another banner empowered minion means they finish off that outer turret, and they're coming for the last inhibitor turret.
Oh, 32 minutes in. Another test of spirit there. As it gets dunked down, I don't think we'll be spawning anymore for LetME. Not quite see as we scroll down. As it stands, RNG now tries to defend. Supers in 2 lanes. Uzi peeled away from top to defend middle.
Time is running out for RNG. They're being swarmed in.
They are indeed. Gorilla was knocked up for a moment, but there wasn't any follow-up. No engage. Karsa too far away. Void Seeker goes out from Uzi, but he's holding on to that killer instinct. Cannot afford to dive into 5.
BDD is the only carry without a QSS, but he's sitting behind his team. He's staying far away, so Karsa can't get to him easily.
Uzi can so easily clear out these minion waves, though, on the Kai'Sa with this Q as well as the Randuin, and threatened with his ultimate to join.
All right, Call of the Forge God comes up. Frey uses the ultimate to dodge, and Kingzone successfully disengage. Do not walk through those feathers. Nethercraft sponsor Khan. There's Gorilla with the quickness. Gets in, gets out. The death ray from BDD signifies nothing. Not enough damage, but the tower's still a focus.
Oh, without that quickness, I don't know if Kingzone will have the opening. RNG still fending off minions, though. They had to send XiaoHu down towards the Nexus to finish them up.
The siege is not done yet.
Here, guys. He can just TP in, but I think Kingzone not looking for another fight with all the ultis not cooled down.
Without the crowd control from Gorilla, they won't be able to find their opening to actually use all of their damage. So they pull off and allow some breathing room here for RNG.
And RNG very clearly learned, if you run at Kingzone, in the middle of it, you die. This was XiaoHu from the side, having to pick a target with QSS just to start a fight, but everyone, they stayed away from the center of Kingzone.
Okay, gentlemen, 45 seconds to Baron. Ocean Drake is up. It's a lower priority objective. And for now, RNG have probably got another 60 or so seconds before that bottom inhibitor spawns. It didn't take too long for it to collapse. RNG cannot afford giving up that Baron, but they cannot afford running into Kingzone in the Baron pit either. It went so horribly wrong last time.
Definitely cannot make a mistake like that again. Flash is available for almost everyone. XiaoHu the only one with his blown. And Gorilla.
As we hit yet another pause, just a quick update. 34 minutes in, Uzi at 470 CS. He's on the verge of that Flame Horizon over Prey. And I believe just over 13 CS per minute.
If they win this, losing those inhibs were just all part of the plan. More minions coming
Just
down.
part of the plan.
More fun for Uzi.
Uzi's setting up for a big play as well, gentlemen. He's got a stopwatch purchased. That is buying some playmaking power for himself. If he jumps in and has to immune some Illaoi tentacles, get to the back line, kill a priority target before using it, the possibilities are there.
Oh, there's so much tension. Obviously, guys, an update there. It is another technical related pause, I believe, on the side of Kingzone, as I can see. They are, is he looking at his Peanut man on your screen right now? Such a high intensity final. Game 4, tournament life on the line. This just adds to the complexities. On the verge of mental boom, as it were, after that Game 3 crushing defeat, Kingzone could get us to Game 5, could force all the way.
Yeah, the four-man group of Kingzone have played very well here. Khan is the only one who's really been caught out multiple times, but I guess he did kind of redeem himself when he got that big fight around the Baron. That was a huge part of Kingzone securing the lead they have now. But as we also highlighted, because we got far enough into the game, there is items on someone like Uzi to actually fight back. You don't have to just concede everything.
Late game Kai'Sa, one of the best things about this build with the Rage Blade, with the Runons, is that you can kill multiple targets at the same time, and with the passive proccing that quickly, even the frontliners will go down quickly.
You see just how tense it is. Uzi, of course, just dabbing his forehead. It is warm here in the Zenith Arena, and this game is heating up. 2-1-0, we've talked so much about Uzi, but the suppression on the sidelines, we've seen some engages by Gorilla that have worked, and some where he has been shut down. That engage from Karsa a few minutes ago, well, 10 minutes ago, the flash catch, game changer, keeping RNG alive.
It definitely was good for RNG, but now there is QSS on Gorilla's side, so he can actually get out of it. The only one still missing is BDD.
Okay.
And he seems to be not opting into it for now, because he's sitting on a stopwatch instead. And I just want to see if it does matter in the next fight, because right now he's sitting far back due to very long range on Vel'koz. If he does, however, step forward, there is a chance that he gets flashed on.
Theoretically, the team shouldn't be stepping forward. There's a reason for that. I actually have that replay of Khan's engage at Baron brought to you by Ace of Predator. Let's take a look at this one more time.
Yeah, Illaoi engage looks like standing in one spot and having the team run at you.
No,
I would say this is more Gorilla's engage. Khan, though, plays the front line. He soaks up the Malzahar ult and all the focus, but there, boom, Gorilla in. Net, the multi-person knockup, multiple charms right there, even grabs Uzi at the end, and the damage from BDD as well as Prey just wipes him off the map.
There was so much damage that poor Peanut tried to be part of the fight, but didn't even get to do anything. He was like running in with the Vel'koz ult, being like, I'm here, guys, I'm helping, but they're all dead by the time he shows up.
Man, what an intense situation. And of course, you know, these pauses are difficult in the players. I mentioned the mental states a moment or two ago. There is so much weight. The players on Kingzone have already said multiple times this tournament, it's different. When you're one of three, there's other Korean teams that can carry the mantle. This has been the tournament of SK Telecom. They won the last 2 times.
They won the last 2 times. That's very important to highlight. And then, of course, EDG won the other one. So 2 winners so far during MSI. But a big thing for Kingzone and what they always talk about is the pressure on them, because internationally, these players have not all shown up. They got 3-0'd by Samsung in the quarterfinal without Peanut, of course, on the lineup. Prey and Gorilla in the past have not actually managed to win an international tournament. And now they're looking like a team that could actually lose this best of 5 and lose this final.
Maybe up until a few minutes ago, they were looking like a team that was going to lose it, based on the 4 games that we've seen. I want to take a closer look at Khan specifically, because he's been a bit polarizing, in my opinion. We've had some very good games. We've had some very questionable games. For a guy who was hyped up as sort of unquestionably the best top laner coming into the tournament, you know, how do you think he's performing? We just looked at his replay a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a man that has spread himself fairly thin over this tournament. As we mentioned, most unique champions played of any player here. He has often looked for the counter pick. We had failures of teleports, we had failures of some Vladimir play, but he has also had successes. And even though we had a very, very high bar for him coming in, which is why people look at some of the failures throughout the tournament, his successes do need to be noted, and he has done that just here.
Yeah, that's very true. And one of the things that kind of hurt Khan and the way he plays is the fact that BDD and Peanut have not been able to do what they did back in the LCK. You know, a lot of these champions that could push and roam actually got nerfed quite a bit, and it's been harder for BDD to find the champions to do it on. So he's gone for more carries like Illaoi, Vel'koz in this one, and then the game is less about Khan specifically, which is something that makes his playstyle less effective. And then also think, while we talk about all the unique champions, he's kind of forcing himself to try and find different things because he doesn't play Ornn, which everyone else plays, and it's really effective. And his AP top laners, they kind of suck. So we don't want to see Vladimir from him either.
Yep.
And he's forced, if he wants to play a carry, to find things like Fiora and Illaoi.
Yeah, definitely the case. I mean, talking about Ornn, LetME again. I mean, he's just got Ornn so many games this tournament. I think this is his 10th performance in 17 games, 18 games. That is a lot of Ornn. And talking about the playstyles, of course, Kingzone received a lot of early game pressure. There's been a number of teams that have stepped up and challenged them. RNG, this series, stepped up and challenged them. Our expectation was that they're going to be this late game team. Now they find themselves in a late game hole. I'm hearing we're a few minutes away, so hopefully that will be the case. How does RNG survive? I assume they cannot give up Baron, and I assume they don't really want to be the ones engaging in a choke point, like let's say around the steps of your inhibitor. That plays into Kingzone, so it's difficult.
Ideally for RNG, you're defending that top lane inhib turret, and it's actually Kingzone who's engaging onto you, so that you can maneuver around and don't sit in an Illaoi ult.
That's why I think it's been so important that Gorilla hasn't been the one to make the first step. He's always waiting for that opening, because there are abilities that can stop him here, you know, if RNG are ready for the outplay. They have the Janna, they have the Ornn, they have the Malzahar, but Gorilla moves so quickly here once their attention is diverted.
And if we get a situation where Kingzone picks up another Baron, there's a great chance they get all 3 inhibs down. And then even if you can fight your way out, you might never get that team fight, because suddenly there are too many super minions for you to deal with. And that's kind of the last thing for Kingzone. And always the problem when you do fall behind is that you tend to only have one last chance all of a sudden, because the rest of your base is already dead.
Well, let's see whether or not Kingzone or RNG will have any more chances. We are back in game. As you can see, the gold graph, a quick update. It was very close for very long, and that gigantic nosedive in favor of Kingzone, pushing to 8K, was the Baron fight. We are back. Baron is spawning, and RNG, they're already in the pit.
Yep, they're first to it, and they want to burn it down. Here comes Kingzone.
Right, there's absolutely no time for disengage. Khan is going to flash away for safety. Oh, the Forge got found, no targets, and XiaoHu is split off from the rest of RNG.
That's a huge part of RNG's team fight. The Ornn ultimate not available, and the minions aren't going to let them work with it.
There are super minions on the Nexus. We are back in the game, and we've gone straight to 110. RNG inside the Baron pit. Super minions out of the battle. But look at the fight. That's already a kill. Karsa is gone. Kingzone lose Gorilla, and it's Uzi that picks him up. The feathers are going back and forth. The XiaoHu dies. Uzi is the last man alive, but he's being chased down. Killer instinct flashes into the pit. How is he still alive? Uzi is doing it. Illaoi tentacle, and Baron finish him off. But there are still supers on the Nexus turrets. There's a teleport coming out. Khan's going for the base.
Khan's going to try and finish this one himself. One man against one turret.
Oh man, but where is the support? And already RNG have been able to get away. Uzi keeps RNG alive.
Kind of. Khan's going to get the work on the inhibitor.
Khan gets the inhib, but there were too many minions for him to finish the game. Death timers here, 20 seconds on XiaoHu. Skarner, 5 seconds. They're fighting again, BDD and Khan.
All right, it looks like LetME's going to be able to defend the middle inhibitor. We get a moment to breathe. I can only apologize about the pauses, but I will not apologize about the chaos and the intensity of the fight. Baron is another objective, and death timers are just resetting. Kingzone and RNG, they're going to go right back to it.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have time for that replay, because Kingzone are back out onto the Baron, but I want to see it, because I felt like as soon as LetME went in and got the big knockup, Uzi flashed out into the Baron pit, and that was the last we saw of him. Kingzone, though, they're keeping it stable here. Here come RNG up through the blue quadrant of the jungle and past the vision.
See with the QSS here, Praise seems to still be on cooldown for a short amount of time. XiaoHu is on his way for him!
Oh, that's straight onto Prey! Call of the Forge God comes out as well as Killer Instinct. Royal never give up on doing it! They get a double kill on Uzi. They're looking for the tower.
All game with eyes on Gorilla, and RNG spent everything to finally hit him first.
2 seconds on that QSS, but it wasn't ready in time. They're pushing now into the base. XiaoHu on his way back with TP.
Look at the death timers. It's 40 seconds on BDD. It's 33 on Prey. Peanut's trying to cut the way. The inhibitor turret is the focus, and now is Peanut. Ragnarok to try and escape. The inhibitor will fall middle. There goes LetME Soul. It's caught up by Khan. Khan gets jumped on. He's got the ultimate available. Gorilla is not going to be able to save him. And Kingzone DragonX is in tatters for the first time ever. RNG is chasing success. Royal never give up. Rule the world. Winning MSI 2018. To France as they are cheering for Uzi. Royal never give up in elation.
Uzi walking out towards his cup, towards his destiny to claim his first international victory.
Royal never give up on your MSI 2018 champions. It is beautiful to behold the happiness as the crownless king now rules the world. LPL Spring Miracle Run, taking every single opponent down that China had to offer, and now the world too.
And what a year for the best player in the world, Uzi. He decides it in the last big team fight. He survives for so long, and in the end, RNG find a way back into this game, and they destroy Kingzone.
And that man right next to him, XiaoHu. They see Prey in the middle of the map. He runs straight for him with the Shurelias, calling down Ornn, and they find victory.
Seeing MLXG take to the stage at the end, cheering, happy, hugging was amazing. And to present the medals, I'd like to welcome Shox and Nicolas Laurent, CEO of Riot Games and French National. Shox and Nicolas award RNG their medals.
This man, he deserves it. Karsa ended up playing all the games in the final, and what a performance.
Waiting to hear Zenith go mad. '18 has become the year of Uzi.
Year of the dog for sure. They called the strategy raising the puppy from the first time we saw him on the stage. Now he's able to take it all the way. Well-deserved medals.
Beautiful to see the coaching staff, MLXG as well, celebrating. Karsa cannot believe it. After years and years of playing with the Flash Wolves, 2018, he moved to the LPL, he moved to RNG. And with the team, Karsa wins LPL Championship. With RNG, they rule the world. Congratulations to RNG. We're going to head downstairs to Shox for the winners interview.